Welcome to Read Me Next, the book club of Make It a Podcast.
Where we have lots of feelings and no qualifications. What are we reading this week?
We're reading The Wedding People by Alison Espach.
Our book club pick.
Yes, for January.
Yeah, super cool, super cool.
Yeah, it was so fun. I feel like it was the first kind of fiction that we've read.
For sure. It was definitely something different.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk to you about it because we haven't really talked at all
No.
while reading the book. We've been trying to comment in the Fable app or whatever,
Yeah, that was fun.
but we haven't really talked at all, and I'm interested to see where your head's at on it.
Yeah, no, and we have some book club questions.
Oh,
that we
yes.
can do.
So excited for that. So one thing that we noticed, and I guess other people noticed as well, that this book really went deep into regular human life, and it didn't really have any trigger warnings in the beginning of the book.
No, a lot of people were mad about that.
Just to mention, in case, since there's no trigger warnings, suicide,
Yeah.
infidelity, infertility,
depression,
yeah.
loss, grief, all of it. Anything that regular humans go through.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it should have mentioned it, especially the infertility thing is that's a tough one for people, especially somebody who's going through it and they just pick up a book and that's kind of one of the whole reasons behind her depression. That was tough for me to see that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did not like that there were no trigger warnings. I think the premise of the book is to talk about these deep things in a more lighthearted way. So maybe that's why she didn't put trigger warnings. But I mean, I think if you're going to mention it, you should put them.
I agree. If you're going to mention it and if you're going to make it a big part of the book, go ahead and just give little feelers out there.
Yeah, no, and all of those were big parts of the book.
Yeah.
Literally all of them.
That's what the book was about. But anyway, so it follows
Phoebe Stone. She's a professor and she, like you said, is going through depression. She got divorced. So she goes to the Cornwall basically to end her life. And she realizes that there's this wedding going on. And the premise of the book is that she meets all of these people. She has,
the wedding people.
Literally the wedding people.
What did you rate it?
I rated it a 4.5.
Wow.
I really liked it.
That's good. I rated it a 3.5.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it about it you didn't like?
It was really hard for me to get into the writing. The entire first part of the book where it was setting the scene and all of those things kind of talked to me as if I was a child. I feel the book. It was Phoebe is doing this. She cannot do that.
That third person really got you.
Holy moly. It wasn't third person where it flowed to me either. You cannot do this. It's not you can't. You cannot do this. Do not go about that.
Did you like it better on audio?
Did I like it better on audio? For sure.
Me
I think
too.
the audio definitely flowed it better. And I read the first half of the book and I listened to the last half. And I think you're right. I think if I would have listened to the entire book, maybe I would have liked how it sounded better.
Yeah, so it was narrated by Helen Laser. And I really liked her.
Same. Once I was listening to it, it was cool.
I do agree with you. The third person was a little interesting to get into. The first 20% of the book, I was kind of
oh my God, same. And I think that's kind of what set the tone for me in the book, and which is hard. It's hard for me, I've realized, is to read a book. And if that beginning is not it for me, it's all right.
If it doesn't capture you.
Yeah, I'm just reading it to read it.
Yeah.
I don't really DNF books.
No, but I agree though. Beginning was a little hard, but then I did really I liked it as it picked up.
Same. Okay. Did you rate it on the spice-o-meter at all?
1 chili.
Okay, cool.
It wasn't spicy.
No, I didn't really look at it, so I'm going to go with that for you. So just to get into it.
Yeah, spoilers.
I liked the idea of the book. I like how it kind of taught you to be honest with yourself. That was kind of the premise that I got. And this is definitely one of those books that you want to reflect on, I guess. It's not one of those you have fun reading.
No.
Which is fine. So I like that. I like the idea. I like how it made you think that oh man, I should really be honest with myself in my own life so I don't get trapped into a wedding that I don't want to be in or whatever.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't fun. No, it wasn't fun for me. She was funny at some points. I'll give her that. But I didn't love it.
I didn't think the idea of the book was supposed to be fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not supposed to be. This is one of those literature books. You know what I mean?
She was talking about. I thought it was interesting because I really liked the book, but it's not like our everyday romance.
Nope.
We hee hee ha ha.
Nope.
It wasn't any banter. Well, I mean, they had some banter.
Yeah.
Her and Gary.
There was some giggles in there that I laughed out loud.
Yeah, no, and I think there were some parts that were lighthearted, but there were also parts that like you said, not only being honest with yourself, but she kind of became like the wedding people's therapist.
Literally.
Everybody went to her, everybody like with their problems. She said multiple times in the book, like, I don't know these people. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to be brutally honest.
Literally, she changed that about herself. She came out of her shell because these are strangers. Who cares what they think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was nice, right? Like I said, like I enjoyed the idea of the book. Is this weird to say? Like the idea of the book, 5 out of 5.
Was original.
I love being honest with yourself. I love not caring what people think, and coming out of your shell. I love how she like reflected on herself and was like, I'm so happy to be here right now. The tarot reading, amazing. That was real sweet. I don't know. It's just the writing, I think was hard for me.
Okay.
That's it. Like I think that's what made the book like a 3.5.
I thought it was something that I've never read something like this.
For sure.
So one thing that was actually super emotional and like really sad was the funeral they had for Human Princess.
Yeah.
No, that shit got me.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like cry at all in the book? Like tear up or anything?
I teared up at that, and I don't know if I teared up anywhere else. I thought it was very touching that she was a stranger and she was the only one that kind of understood Juice and was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and she didn't give a shit. She was like, "You know what? Throw it overboard. It doesn't matter."
Yeah. Juice really stood out for her. Like Juice needed her to be there.
She really did. And I felt like she was just so appreciated by Gary, by Jim, by like everybody that loved Juice. They were like, oh, this random ass woman is just like making her feel, as good as she can when this thing like just died on her.
Literally. I do think everybody was mean. I now am thinking that since we're on this part, like people were mean to Lila the entire book.
To Lila? I also think Lila was a very misunderstood character.
Yeah, like she was just like, it's because she wasn't mean. Lila wasn't mean.
But I mean, in that part, like I don't think she was mean intentionally.
Yeah. She also didn't really know how to go about the whole having a stepdaughter situation, which I get it, but I don't think anybody was helping her. Like nobody was I don't want to say guiding her, but nobody was setting her up to win. Marla kept setting her up for freaking shit.
Yeah, Marla was the ops.
Yeah, for freaking real. And Gary didn't really help either.
I know, but like Gary was like in this position of like being stuck between them. So I kind of get that. I feel like during the entire book, we really just see like how different Phoebe is from Lila. Like Lila's like this 27, 28-year-old. What do you expect?
Bitch.
Yeah, rich bitch. What the hell do you expect from her?
Yeah, 100%.
She played the role really well that she needed to, being so brutally honest with Phoebe, being like, you cannot kill yourself.
Yes.
You cannot commit suicide on my wedding week.
100%.
She really leaned on Phoebe when Phoebe was like, get out. And she's like, no.
Yeah. She like kind of turned it around on Phoebe. Like now that Phoebe ended up feeling needed by Lila. And I think that was like her whole, like, you saved me type of thing.
But I did like their dynamic between Lila and Phoebe.
Same. 100%.
I don't know. I really liked Phoebe.
Yeah, I really liked Phoebe, but everybody around Lila was a bitch. Like, I didn't like anybody around Lila, and that, like, kind of made me sad.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get that. I felt like Lila was the one that was very much not trying to participate. That's what I got.
Interesting.
Yeah, like, she could give a shit. But I also,
don't know,
because not that she can't give a shit. I feel like it's just like she doesn't know how to give a shit.
She doesn't know how to give a shit. Exactly. Like, she tried that with the human princess thing. She tried to give her a little ice cream cone or ice cream. And, like, I feel like that was obviously maybe not the best thing. Obviously, she's like, I don't want it. But she put that foot forward to see, like, how she can do that. When they were out with Marla, she was like, Marla, come be a sister with me. Like, I feel like she was, like, trying so hard and everybody was just so mean to her, which is fine. She played her part in Phoebe's life. Maybe that's another point of this book. Sometimes the people you need most are the people you least expect.
Yeah.
So
it's just a random stranger.
As a random rich bitch.
Yeah. So who's like, all right, I'm gonna need you to be my maid of honor. So step up. Sorry, you can't kill yourself.
Literally. And she didn't.
And she didn't.
She did not.
Yeah. I also think Lila was the bravest one out of all of them. She's the one that called off the wedding.
Yep.
Gary's stupid ass didn't.
I cannot believe Gary didn't either.
I'm like, guys, we're kind of real close.
Literally, I thought they were gonna call it off the day after the Bachelorette.
Well,
I was like,
no, I knew once she got drunk. I was like, and she like drunkenly confessed that she didn't want to marry Gary. I'm like, she's gonna totally take it back.
You're right.
Tomorrow morning.
You're right.
It's a classic.
Let's go ahead and talk about some people who are in this book, the characters, because there were so many of them and it's hard to keep track.
Yeah. Okay. So Phoebe's the main character. She's depressed. She got divorced from her ex-husband, Matt, who basically cheated on her.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And so she goes to the Cornwall to, like, end her life. That's where she meets Lila. She's the bride of this, like, extravagant wedding that's going on at the Cornwall.
So at this point, Phoebe is the only person at the Cornwall who was not in the wedding or invited to the wedding. Somehow there was some mix up that Phoebe was able to book a room.
Yeah.
So it's funny because she gets there and she's the only real guest.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
everybody's a part of the wedding, invited to this wedding week.
Everyone's like,
So-
"Oh, where do I know you from? Where do I know you from?" She's like, "I don't know anybody here." She's a stranger, right?
Mhm.
And so I guess that was kind of her appeal for everybody.
Yep.
And so Lila's the bride. Oh, she's like this 20-something-year-old rich girl. She works at an art gallery where she met her fiance, Gary.
Mhm.
He's like this 40-something-year-old widower.
Mhm.
And basically he gets dragged to the art gallery by Jim, who's his like previous brother-in-law.
Mhm. Because it was the same day of his wedding anniversary of his late wife.
Yes.
That's where Lila first meets Gary,
Mhm.
and they ended up thinking it was fate because they meet a couple weeks later at her dad's doctor's appointment because her dad has cancer.
And Gary was the doctor.
And Gary was the doctor.
So they were like, "Oh my God, it's fate." And so they ended up like starting a relationship. And basically, right now in the book, that's when they're getting married.
Mhm. Yep.
So another few characters: Juice, who is Gary's like 11-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Marla is his sister.
Mhm.
Kind of a bitch. She's a lawyer, right?
Super fucking bitch. Yeah, she went to law school. She was a lawyer. Now she's the mayor.
And now she's the mayor.
And Marla actually cheated on her husband with a judge. So
Yeah.
she is one who had an affair.
Yeah, so she did have an affair.
Mhm.
And Jim, who is the brother-in-law.
Mhm. Which was the late wife's brother.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's pretty much everybody in the book, right?
Something that really got me,
Ooh.
I did not expect Gary to be the hot tub man.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew Gary was the
no,
hot tub man.
I totally did not see it coming. I was so excited.
Yeah. No. Interesting. Cool.
Oh, no, which is so funny. Like, because that's like such an obvious plot twist. But it really, when I was reading it, I was like, "Oh my God, Gary." I was so excited. She's like, "And the guy from the hot tub last night." And I was like,
Literally. No, I loved her in the hot tub, though. I love how she was like, "I want to fuck you."
mm-hmm.
I was like, Queen, Phoebe, go off.
I know, literally, Phoebe and Gary's, all of their conversations I loved.
They were
So meant to be.
I don't know. It was just so weird. Like, how is she falling in love with the groom?
I know,
Even though they
but, like,
weren't in love, I guess.
They weren't in love.
Yeah, 100% true.
Oh, no. I was so excited that Gary was hot tub man.
Yeah, Gary was
so
a hot
fun.
tub man. Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah.
Another part, something that I was just like, thank God that we are mature adults and like the wiser you get with age.
Okay.
When Matt came at the end,
Bro.
and
I was like, why are you still here?
Also, but I'm like, okay, you slept with him. Okay, please don't tell me, girly, that you're going back to him. Because I'm going to be so fucking mad that if I just read
this whole book
and you're going back to your ex-husband.
I would have been pissed.
I would have been so mad. Thank God she didn't do that.
No. And
No.
I was pissed that he went to the wedding. I was like, why the fuck do you need to go to the wedding? And she's like, I want to tell him not to come to the wedding, but that would be too much. I'm like,
No,
girl,
wouldn't.
did we not go through this entire book learning that it is okay and practicing that is okay to be too much if you need to be?
Yeah.
I was pissed. And I didn't like that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't so pissed. I would have been more pissed if she got back together with him. So I was like, this is fine.
True.
Oh, you know what? Another part that got me really emotional, which was kind of stupid, but not because Matt deserves for me to feel bad for him, but right at the end when they were in the car and she was like, I'm not going back with you. And he's like, I kind of figured that I was hoping you wouldn't say that. But then when he started crying, I was like, I didn't feel bad, but I was just like, I felt bad that it was like an ending of a
chapter for her.
Of a chapter for them. Yeah. And I was like, not that it shouldn't happen, it should happen. But it was kind of sad that it was like the end of, an era.
Yeah, for sure. I just feel like, what was he doing at that point? Did he come look for her from Mia's house? Like, where was he at in his life at that point? You know what I mean? Like, did he just feel like, oh, something is wrong? And that's where he was like, oh my God, I miss what I used to have. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. Fuck Matt.
Yeah, no, fuck Matt for sure.
Yeah.
He like totally left her high and dry. No, and fucking Harry dying.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
so sad.
That was sad.
No, yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the funeral with Human Princess, when she was talking about Harry and all the things that Harry meant to her, I was like,
yeah,
too much.
That part actually, like that gave me a little bit of a
and when
emotional part.
I feel like this is how the author kind of made it lighthearted when Juice was like, did you know my dog? And everybody laughed and stuff. Like, she tried to make some deep things a little more lighthearted.
Yeah, and she used that like towards her character point, I think, like her personality. She would always try to joke to lighten up the mood.
Yeah.
Type of thing, for sure. But I think it was funny how like every single character had who they needed to be in the book. It wasn't like there's random ass characters like all these other books that we read.
Yeah.
Like even Marla, such a bitch. But Marla, I think, was the one when she asked her, "Do you hate me because I had an affair?"
Yeah.
She was the one who really closed that chapter for her, I think, and was, "No, I don't hate you. Don't hate my ex-husband."
Yeah. I think each character kind of brought something out of her. Also, Jim, when they got high together, that was
Love.
so funny.
I love Jim.
I love Jim.
Like, Lila was just hating on Jim because she wanted Jim.
She wanted Jim. But no, that whole part, that was so cute, so wholesome. And then they hear freaking Lila crying in, like, the next door. And I was just like, damn, man. Like, who the fuck is going to step up and just cancel this goddamn wedding? Something I didn't like about Phoebe, which I was really nervous. If this wedding would have happened, I would have been pissed off at Phoebe. When she didn't say anything to Gary. Like, I don't know, I feel like she had opportunity, and obviously he at the end was like, "I was waiting for you to text me," but that's, like, no excuse, like, I shouldn't have gone, like, this deep through the wedding. But I was like, "Come on, Phoebe."
I don't know. Like, I'm on, like, such, like, a teetering.
I'm not teetering because she knew how everybody felt. She was the one who knew how all parties felt. She knew how Lila felt about Jim, how Jim felt about Lila, and how Gary didn't like Lila.
Yeah. I don't know, but, like, she felt like she owed it to Lila.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why she didn't
Very
say
maid of
anything.
honor of her.
Very maid of honor for her, and because she also knew that Lila wasn't gonna call off the wedding at that point. So then she would have wronged Lila,
Yeah.
you know?
Ugh.
Which it still sucks, though, because you're gonna waste everybody's life away if they would have gone through the wedding.
Oh, no.
I know,
Damn.
that's tough.
Yeah. So I was like, thank God, Lila.
I mean, it's exactly what her mom said. That was another character of the book, Patricia. Patricia was Lila's mom.
Yeah.
Which Lila was mean to her, I feel like, for no reason, but we don't know really how she is.
How she grew up, yeah.
Whatever. But like Patricia really laid it out. She was like, this is what's gonna happen. She doesn't actually love Gary, and Gary doesn't actually love her.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Which I was like, wow, Patricia. And then they ended up together in Canada, which I thought that was sweet.
That was like a nice wholesome moment.
Yeah, because they did miss each other in their own ways.
Yeah. What really was also very emotional was when she was with Juice, when Juice got drunk at the rehearsal dinner.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny.
Heck was that?
But she's the one that took her back to her room when she was like, I miss my mom, like, and she's like, I know. And
I
she's
do
like,
too.
this, that, and it's like, I know. And it's like, oh, like
Yeah.
she had really beautiful interactions with all of them.
She also did grow up very sad, which made me feel like hurt for Phoebe because she's like, I grew up a burden. Like, I grew up thinking I was a burden my whole life because my mom died when I was born.
Yeah.
Like, no, I hated that for her.
Yeah.
Like, from the beginning, she was set up to be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so sad.
So sad. Something you did mention also, the tarot cards.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cute.
Yeah, I like the tarot. I mean, that entire bachelorette was like proof for everybody that Lila did not really like Gary.
1000%.
Like, the whole sex thing was hilarious, by the way. The panda lady.
The panda lady.
What's going
Absurd.
on?
Yeah.
But again, before we even get into that, her maid of honor just not showing up.
Yeah.
Her OG maid of honor.
Yeah.
Poor Lila. But like, I guess maybe what Phoebe said towards the end is like she doesn't know how to keep her friends. So like, I see both here now.
That's true, because there were some parts where Lila, like, she was just like stepping over boundaries, like not giving a fuck. Like, I get
and not caring.
About the other
100%.
person.
Yeah, the whole speech thing was not cool.
No.
Anyway, sorry. Back to the sex woman. I really thought she was not gonna do anything bachelorette-y, and then she was like, all right, let's get into this, and like threw out all the
sex
toys.
toys?
Yeah, which was really funny.
That was funny.
But literally, like, Lila
Lila-
had nothing to say about Gary being a good kisser, nothing to say about sex with him.
She did not participate at all.
No, because she didn't fucking like her freaking fiance.
Ugh.
But I like how everybody else was like cool about the tarot reader, and the tarot reader was really cool with Phoebe.
Yeah.
That was really nice. That was sweet.
I liked that.
That was emotional for me too.
When she kept saying, like, you are here. You are here. I
Ugh,
don't know what it
I
means,
know.
but you are here. And Phoebe's like, I know what it means. I'm like, oh my God, I do too.
Yeah, that was deep for me.
It's so sweet.
Yeah. This freaking tarot reader. Would you ever get that done? Would you ever get taroted?
I don't know.
Me either. I don't know.
Probably.
It's a little.
I would probably do it, but I don't know if I'd believe it.
Yeah. Okay, so just looking at some of my Kindle highlights and stuff, when Phoebe was going up the elevator and the bride, Lila, was like holding the elevator and she closed it on her fucking hand and her hand was bleeding, I was like, okay, Phoebe, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
And like thinking in my head, I was like, I would never do that to somebody. Like, not hold the elevator.
I mean, well, where she was at in her life.
I know, which is like where I got to. I was like, God damn, well.
So I feel like this book had a lot of like really good quotes. So it says, life is strange, always thinking that this one thing is going to make you happy, because then you get it, and then maybe you're not as happy as you imagine you would be, because every day is just every day. The happiness becomes so big that you have no choice but to live inside it until you can no longer see it or feel it. And so you start to fixate on something else. Like,
Mhm.
I think that's what Gary was saying. I think this is a quote from Gary when he was talking about like being married and having lost his late wife Wendy and then like going through the motions and like
Mhm.
having juice and it's just like damn.
Yeah. So I think Phoebe also touches on like that quote that you did as well, because one of her authors that she was always referencing is Virginia Woolf.
Mhm.
And she was like shocked to know that Virginia Woolf also committed suicide, because she's like, how can you write all these amazing books and win these awards and still not be happy to do that to yourself?
Yeah.
And I was like, that is so true. Like, you have to be content, like, with what you do
Mhm.
and know that you mean something, I guess. That was a big part of this book too. You get somewhere and you want more at some point, or you want something else,
Yeah.
which is sweet.
There's another quote and it says, and maybe that's it. You do things in the moment for the person you hope you might be 2 years from now.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Like in the time span of a week, like her whole basically ideology changed.
Yep, 100%.
Oh, so good.
The book was beautiful. The
This
more I talk about it, I'm like, all right, maybe it was pretty good.
maybe I actually did really like it.
Maybe I did like it.
I like this one a lot. It says it's not an easy thing to do. Walk away from what you've built and save yourself. Destroying Phoebe's marriage felt like destroying herself. Walking out of the classroom felt like killing the 22-year-old who tried to save her own life by applying to graduate school. It is so much easier to sit in things and wait for something to save us.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. That's
It's
like the thing
so
about being
hard.
honest.
Yeah.
You got to be honest with yourself no matter where you're at.
It's not an easy thing to do to walk away from something you've built to save yourself. Like, that's crazy. It's such a good quote. Okay, another quote. Becoming who you want to be is just like anything else. It takes practice. It requires belief that one day you'll wake up and be natural at it. So good. I feel like I liked her friends.
Yeah.
And but they were kind of fake though, because even Lila said at the end, like they don't even talk about anything important. When her dad died, they didn't even call her. Like, I
I
hate
do
that.
have to say though, like, friends come in seasons. Like, you have friends that are important to you in one point of your life, and they can become less important as your life goes on, but it doesn't mean that they weren't important at some point,
No,
like,
no,
to
I'm
you.
sure. Like in high school, they were like the
Yeah,
best of friends. They were sisters.
exactly, which I think is like another cool thing to see in this book, how you see like the progression of a relationship, even if it's with friends, because some people I feel like don't see that. Like, just because you don't talk to that person every day anymore doesn't mean like you didn't value them at some point, like, a lot. You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
I agree with that. But I don't like even at the beginning when Phoebe overheard the Suze and Nat talking about how like they don't even know Gary.
Mhm.
And I was like, and you guys are like bridesmaids? Like what's going
Mhm.
on?
Mhm.
I don't know.
I think that's crazy too.
Yeah, right?
I don't know, but I also think that's Lila just not having any real friends. That's her problem.
It really is a Lila problem.
Mhm. I liked the ending.
Yeah.
I like that it was realistic in the fact that she didn't go straight to the mansion, and she was like, "I actually do have to go to St. Louis. I have to sell my house. I have to clean up the crumbs. I have to pack." Well, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It matched the energy of the book 100%. It didn't make it some fairy tale ending,
No.
which I was cool with.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree. I felt like the romantic in me, okay, go get Gary, girl.
Literally.
But I liked that it was kind of an ambiguous ending for that. They were gonna probably talk,
Mhm.
obviously,
Mhm.
but it really ended with just Phoebe leaving the hotel,
Mm.
leaving as she came.
Yep, exactly.
And it was Phoebe's story. Loved it.
Exactly. It kind of obviously, like you said, in the romantic in us, like, it would have been nice for Phoebe and Gary to have a little one-nighter or something, but
Give us a chili pepper.
but I like that they didn't, because in our real lives, that would've been fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you're really gonna go fuck the groom after he just got dumped in his wedding?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I loved, I don't know, I love that he gave her his phone number.
Uh-huh, 100%.
So cute.
Yeah, no.
And so she's like, they're telling stories about you. And he's like, which ones? The one, like this one
These
and
ones?
this? She's like,
So
they're
funny.
so predictable.
No, I also really liked when Jim started flirting with her in front of them. I was like, "Oh, see, this is how you know they really were not in it for each
No,
other.
they were
They want
both
them."
looking
Mhm.
like,
And she's like, "Maybe I will fuck Jim." It's like, "Yes, baby.
yes.
Do it." This is another thing with the honest part of this book, and this is actually from the sex woman. She said what the sex woman meant when she had said that Phoebe, for the rest of her life, would have to keep checking in, look in the mirror, and repeatedly ask herself, "Am I being honest right now?" Like, I love that, because
Yeah.
you have to be honest with yourself in your relationship, with your friends, at work, like,
Everything.
everything.
Mhm.
Don't pretend.
No.
Don't pretend you're happy. Be happy.
No, a great quote.
What can I say?
But honestly, like I feel like Phoebe was very in tune with herself
At this point.
at this point,
Mhm.
100%, literally just this week.
Yeah, just this week, man.
Yeah, no, but she really didn't care. She's like,
Mm-mm.
I don't give a shit.
Mm-mm.
I don't know these people.
Which I love
I'm
that.
gonna tell how it is. Love it.
Love that. So do you have some questions for me?
Yes. All right. So let's do some book club questions.
Woo!
So we can do this for all of the book clubs that we got going on.
Yeah.
So question 1 is, what was your favorite part of the book?
I honestly think my favorite part of the book was when Phoebe decided in the beginning of the book that these people are all strangers and I'm going to say what I want and I'm going to be who I want, and she freed herself that way. I like that. Like that feeling of being free, I imagine is like a breath of fresh air. It was a weight off her shoulders. So I like that part.
That's good.
Like, because it kind of really set the tone for the book.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Your turn now. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was, like I mentioned before, the funeral for Human Princess. That like whole boat day that they had. It was really when Phoebe met the wedding people, when
Yep.
she interacted with them, and just the funeral in general. It was very emotional for me. I really liked that part.
Yeah, I like how she was able to kind of not live through Juice, but she kind of did, you know?
Yeah. It was kind of like a peaceful closure for Phoebe
Yeah.
and Harry.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that she didn't have to deal with Harry. Not deal with Harry, but like,
R.I.P. Sweet Harry
I
baby.
kind of like how she didn't have to go through like digging by herself and, you know, being like that sad alone.
Yeah.
After Harry passed for herself.
Damn, but even Matt, when he called her, like crying about Harry, I was like,
That sucks,
poor
but
Harry.
I don't like Matt.
We don't like Matt. All right. What was your least favorite part of the book?
My least favorite part of the book was probably Matt showing up.
Yeah.
And them fucking and Matt going to the wedding. I don't like that the entire book was about the wedding people, and even she was like, "These are my people," and she still let him go to the wedding. Have the conversation, let him go, let him
Yeah.
leave.
Bye. I feel like he was kind of intruding
Mm-hmm.
on. Well, obviously he was intruding
Her-
on the wedding, but like intruding on her and how she was that entire week.
Mhm.
Like she don't go back to him.
And me, logistically, I'm like, they didn't pay for a plate. Like she didn't RSVP. I'm like,
Who the fuck are you?
who the fuck are you to make them pay for your food at the wedding?
Get out of here.
Get
Matt.
out of here.
That's so funny. Okay, who's your favorite character?
You didn't tell me your least favorite part.
Oh, I said that same.
Oh, you said same?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I did not like Matt coming up.
Cool.
I was like, why are you here? Get out.
Yeah, love that. Okay.
Also, that part where it's literally her and Gary, they're about to get
Oh.
into it, and fucking Matt knocks on the door. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. And Gary, of course, is gonna think when he introduces himself as her husband.
Yeah, and then she like doesn't correct him.
I know.
Oh, but then again, also
Pisses me off.
Gary was engaged, soon to be
Yeah,
married tomorrow to
100%.
Lila, so I guess you're right. But
Still, Phoebe should have corrected him, I think.
Phoebe should have been like, Matt, go away.
Literally.
It's me, Gary, and my future daughter, Jules. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Huh.
For freaking real.
So annoying.
Okay.
Okay, well, who was your favorite character?
Ooh.
Mine was Phoebe.
Okay. Classic.
I know, sorry. But I felt like she did have a lot of growth.
She did have a lot of growth. I don't know. I think I like Jim.
Really?
Mhm.
I did like Jim. Jim was very much the like very lighthearted presence.
Yeah, I do like him.
And I like that he stepped up and he gave his fucking speech.
He gave his fucking speech and he was like, Gary, you just fucking stand there. Because he was sad for himself, right? He was also sad for Gary because like, I think he could tell that Gary was not his original self.
1000%. When,
you know?
When Jim and her got high together and Jim told her everything that had happened, like the whole art gallery and everything, and even like Lila going up to him as a stranger.
Yep.
Crying with him and stuff. I was just like,
literally. And he was so like, obviously this one thing made all of this happen, but the way he was just like, Gary hadn't even spoken about a woman in years or in how long. And so he was like, all right, I'll let him have it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though he felt like that could have been the one for him.
Oh.
Like Jim was just, he was great. I liked Jim.
Yeah, he got dealt the shit out of the stick.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Jim was a good one.
Yeah, I like Jim.
So it says, did you race to the end or was it more of a slow burn?
Slow burn.
Yeah, me too.
Real slow.
Yeah.
The first 20% was real tough for me.
So which scene stuck with you the most?
It was the day that Phoebe had to run errands with Gary.
Same.
I think it was just cute because Gary like had every excuse under the sun to keep hanging out.
Yeah.
Like that was sweet.
And
obviously it's like, ooh, it was sweet, but it was sweet.
No, yeah, 100% was sweet. And then even like when they went to his office and she was just like, I could like totally see this. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a doctor. She was literally playing house with him.
Literally, even the barber was like, oh, is this the bride to be? No, sorry.
No, and that's also the part where Gary's like, I don't think I'm supposed to be having these feelings. And I was just like, girl, say it back. And she didn't. I was like,
she didn't. That's where she felt. I think it was that scene where she was like, I'm loyal to Lila.
Get out of here.
Yep.
All right. Oh, this one's funny. What did you think about the writing? Well, we already know what Carina thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Third person is just like, it was hard. Like, I don't know. It's not like I'm talking to somebody. I feel like I'm in Phoebe's boat because she explained this in the book that she reads to get out of this life and go into a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like how I read. I read because I'm having fun living out these characters and seeing how they feel and the tension with their people and being funny and whatever.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when I was reading this as third person, it wasn't at all like that. It was like Phoebe does this, Phoebe that. Nobody was talking to me, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
It was just me reading stuff.
It was harder for you to connect.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Pili. I could not connect
Mm-hmm.
in this book.
Okay. Yeah.
And you?
It would have been interesting if it were first person. If it were
Right.
first person with multiple POVs.
Yeah, or even first person and just Phoebe's POV.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been fine too. I don't know. Is my brain rotting? That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what's happening with me reading all these other books?
I think so.
So I'm like,
unfortunately, I do think that because
Yeah.
it can't be that you can't read a third person point of view and you're just like, fuck this book.
literally. But I just feel like third person is for not fun. I don't know. Like,
Maybe.
third person was for school for me. You know?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we've said it before. Like when we read in third person, it's like, are we in high school?
Exactly.
But I do think third person was good for this book.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like at this point, I can change my rating to a 4. Yeah.
Now that we've talked about
Now
it.
that we've talked about it and I let it simmer a little bit, you know, still the writing wasn't for me, but it is beautiful.
That's why I gave it a 4.5. I would have given it a 5, but I feel like the beginning was a little hard for me to get into.
Okay, so I officially changed my rating to a 4.
She's a 4, guys. Would you read another book by this author?
Not sure.
No?
I think, yeah. I think I could pull another one of these, but
I would too.
it would be like really hard for me to get into if it was something like this again. I don't know. I'm gonna just say yes. I
Ooh.
think I would listen to it
Yeah.
instead of reading
No,
it.
definitely. The audio was really good. The narrator, Helen, was top notch.
Yep.
If you could hear this story from another character's POV, who would you choose?
I'll go with Jim.
Yeah?
Yeah, because in Jim's POV, you're gonna be like, oh, fine, he can talk to this one. And then he's gonna just realize that he actually loves this woman and he's the one on the side.
I would have picked Gary.
Yeah?
Because I would have liked to see his real deep emotions about his late wife, about Lila, about Phoebe, like
About Juice.
all of these women in his life, and kind of like what his real thoughts are on them.
Yeah, I agree.
Did reading the book impact your mood?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know, I got sad in a lot of it.
I agree.
I was just like, fuck, man.
I got sad, but I really feel like the end was like this redemption, and I really enjoyed the end. Like for how emotional, I feel like I wasn't emotional during the book, but
How it connected, like you said.
yeah, no, there was like a lot of deep shit that this book talked about. For the end to kind of be full circle and like everybody kind of got closure, the ending made me happy.
Yeah, I do feel like when I was reading it, I did feel sad sometimes, but I was like, dang, this is some beautiful stuff. Like, that's how I felt.
So true. Like this is some real life shit.
This is some shit right here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I feel like
that's good though, right?
Yeah, that's why I like this book because I feel like yes, we read our romances and yes, we read to get away and have fun and you know all of these winged men and mafia princes. We love it, but it's also nice to. It was a change of pace for us.
It was a change of pace,
and not in a bad way. It was just different.
It was just different.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%.
5 stars.
Anyways, I'm changing my review now again to 5 star. No, I'm gonna stick with my 4. I think
4 is good.
Yeah, I had a first pick 3.5 because I wasn't sure if I would introduce anybody to this book. Like that was the one thing that I was like, should I tell somebody else to read this? But after like this conversation, after this book club, I'm like, you know what? Like, I love that message. I love the message of the book. So I'll give it a 4. That's what solidified it for me.
So you would recommend it to
I
others?
would recommend it because of the message
too.
and how like that really made you feel.
Yep, I would too. Good stuff. What surprised you most about the book?
What surprised me most? I already know your answer.
Oh, 100%. For me, it was Gary being Hot Tub Man.
Gary being Hot Tub Man.
I was so happy that he was. Which, I mean, obviously. But that's my thing also. Like, it being a fiction, I'm like, I don't know where this book is going.
True.
So I felt like in my head, I'm like, I had no reason to think Gary was Hot Tub Man.
True,
like,
true.
Damn, he's the groom? Love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Give me some complicated romance.
Anything
surprised you? Probably the beginning where she wanted to kill herself. That was a big surprise.
I think I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with that. In the beginning when she was like, I'm here to end my life. What? What?
Lila was like,
What?
Come again?
Literally. I was Lila at that point. I'd be like, what?
We're all like, holy shit.
No, when she had a whole plan, I was like, okay, girl. That was like a lot for me. And I was really surprised that's where the book went.
And she did it. Okay, so what was your favorite quote?
I think it goes to the part that you talked about earlier with Gary, but I found it. Okay, so it starts off her saying some things, and then she goes, she felt betrayed by the book, betrayed by Woolf and all the other great authors who killed themselves. It was too horrible to know that getting married wasn't enough, that creating their masterpieces hadn't been enough, that going to World War II hadn't been enough, that being valedictorian of both her high school and then her college wasn't enough. I think that just puts it in perspective that a lot of things that you do or that other people do, who knows if it'll keep you happy in the long run.
Yeah.
Like, you have to still have goals, aspirations. And I feel like sometimes if you don't have those things or you let yourself keep pretending about certain things, that you'll end up not where you want to be.
Yeah. And also, like, even being so accomplished, like, you
Mhm.
never know what, like, somebody's going through mentally.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Yeah.
There was another quote, and it said, "She didn't understand how she could love herself. She didn't understand what people even meant when they said they loved themselves. She honestly didn't even believe them. How could you love yourself? How could you love yourself when you know every single horrible thing you've ever thought?" And I was like, girl,
That is so true. I like that quote too, Billy.
yeah.
Yeah, knowing all the horrible thoughts that you've thought. Ooh,
Mhm.
that's so true because you do have these like fleeting thoughts that
And you're
happen
just like,
because of
How
that's how
could
it is.
how could you love yourself?"
Yeah.
But you have to.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, so it says, "How did your opinion of the book change as you read it?" I think we've both established that at the beginning it was very hard for us, but towards the end
It got better.
it got better.
It also changed a lot talking about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a lot, point 0.5, but
Mhm.
like it made me
Kind of
like
reflect.
it kind of made me appreciate it a little more
Okay.
talking about it.
Love that. How does the book's title work in the relationship of the book's content?
So I love the title of the book.
It was great.
Yeah, I love how it kept being like I love when a title of the book is mentioned in the book. So I love that she kept being, yeah, the wedding people, the wedding people. And even towards the end in Matt was there or whatever, she was like, the wedding people are my people. Love
Mhm.
that.
Love. She was the part of the wedding people at the
Yeah.
end. I
Yeah.
enjoy that too. I feel like obviously going into it blind, I was like, "What the hell is this even about?"
Same.
Wedding people, and I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't even understand the concept until she's like, "Oh, all these people are here for the wedding. They're the wedding
Hmm.
people." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, love that."
And like she was the wedding person. Like
Yeah.
everybody went to her for everything.
Okay. It says, "Is the book overrated or underrated?"
Ooh, because it was the top fiction book of the year last year. So I think I can't answer this question to the fullest of my ability because this is my first fiction book
Agreed.
that we're like really reading.
Right now, I feel like it's rated.
It is rated.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right. Which location in the book would you most like to visit? I feel like it was only just the Cornwall, really, but I did really like her describing
The
the
mansion?
mansion.
Mhm.
I was like, that's so fun for her to like be there and be like the winter keeper. Would you consider the setting an important factor of the story?
100% because she wanted to go here when she was married to Matt, and Matt said no. I was like, "God damn it, Matt, bro. Let her go have fun."
Literally, and it really just takes a woman. Let me just say something. It really just takes a woman being by the side of a fucking idiot. 2 years she asked to go to this fucking Cornwall and he never took her. So she's like, God damn, I have to be divorced and depressed to take myself fucking
Mhm.
there
Mhm. 100%.
and not look back.
Yep,
Good
100%.
for her. Good for
Yeah.
her. Love that. But I do think it was very important the setting because
Yeah.
she went specifically
Mhm.
there because of what she was like attempting to do.
Exactly.
All right. Says, how did it impact you?
I guess it's gonna make me it made me reflect on being honest with myself.
Good. I like that.
You know, I gotta be honest in all the parts of my life and to myself.
Good. I feel like she just didn't care to like feel judged also by
Yeah,
like by speaking her truth.
100%.
Yeah, I thought that was
And I
interesting.
like that too. I like not caring.
No, I
Mhm.
wish.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I wish.
I wish. Would you ever consider rereading it? I would reread it.
Not sure.
No?
I don't know
Okay.
because it made me, like, sad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I enjoyed.
I think I would read it with somebody, like, this time, obviously, like, if I read it with somebody,
Mhm.
I think, yeah, because I like talking about it, but if I'm gonna read a book by myself, I would want it to be one that I
Fun.
can laugh with and,
Yeah.
you
Okay,
know?
that makes sense. Okay, so the next question is, are there any lingering questions from the book you're still thinking about?
Hmm.
Mine would be like a what happens next? That's what I would
Yeah.
enjoy. Obviously, like how her future is being the winter keeper. And she obviously right at the end, maybe like the last few pages, she starts writing again. So like
Yeah, that's cute.
does she end up finish writing? And then
Mhm.
obviously her relationship with Gary.
Yeah, does she go back to being a professor?
Who knows?
Yeah. I think that's what you're saying is right, like, what happens
The
next
what ifs.
in her life? Like, how does she make herself better
Hmm.
and not get back to that place that she was at?
Yeah. And the last question is, did the book strike you as original?
100%.
For me too.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was really fun.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, cool. Those were our book club questions.
Love
Fun.
that.
All right, so we could maybe do that for every book club book.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, you want to do Goodreads?
So this one's a 5-star. It says, I love this book. I am so sad it's over and I know it will stick with me for a while. The best feeling ever if you ask me. I loved so much about it, the characters, the message, the topics, the humor, the storyline, the ending, and Helen Laser, narrator, brought the humor and all the personalities to life so well. And all the characters were iconic and hilarious and necessary in their own way, and they truly depicted wedding people to a T. Plus, it ended exactly how I wanted it to.
Love that.
I love how she mentioned the narrator in the Audible.
Yeah. And she really, the narrator really did bring out all of their personalities.
All of them. So this one is a 4-star. It says, if I'm not supposed to judge books by their covers, why do they have such beautiful ones? And I have to call this installment of picking reads based on visual aesthetic a success. What a damn good time. And it goes, there is no medicine quite like the subgenre of book club fiction in which everything starts out completely terrible and then is inconvertibly solved within a few hundred pages. It's restorative, like a good haircut or a well-toasted bagel. Keeps you going.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. The whole haircut part,
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
And
that is so true for the ladies.
She was like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
And the stylist was like, nobody ever lets me cut their hair on the wedding day.
Amazing.
Love that. She's
Amazing.
just so carefree. I loved her.
So carefree. All right, this is a 5-star review. It says, this book was so human. I loved every single character, and the dialogue felt so authentic and genuinely funny. The depictions of depression were so spot on, and I especially appreciated the way that no two characters experienced it in the same way. Such a solidly great read all around. I wouldn't say genuinely funny, in my opinion.
You didn't think it was funny?
Some parts were, like, made me giggle.
Yeah.
But, like, I wouldn't say, like, this book was hilarious.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It definitely did feel, like, authentic, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was real. 5-star review. Okay, so it took me a minute to get into this one, and I was so afraid I wouldn't like it, but I loved it. I don't know how a book with such a heavy subject matter also happens to be laugh out loud funny, and I just adored every second of this and didn't want it to end. 100%. That was the
It
slow
took a
burn.
minute.
Real slow burn for
Agreed.
me. I do give it to the book. I did laugh out loud at like 3 parts.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a 4-star review. It says, a great read, a very effective way of addressing some serious themes, and it turns out many of the main characters either directly or indirectly help resolve each other's problems. That can't be a bad thing. From planned suicide to marrying the right but wrong guy, a life of second chances and pursuing your dreams, even the ones you didn't know you had. How lovely, satisfying, and in some ways thoughtful. I can see why so many thoroughly enjoyed this one.
It really is like the characters, directly or indirectly, really just helped each other solve everything.
Literally.
It just took like Phoebe, like just kind of.
Literally. Like everybody had an effect somewhere.
Yep.
Everybody had an effect somewhere on someone. Like it didn't always have to be Phoebe either.
That's true.
You know what I mean? This is a 2-star review. It says, wow, what a bore. I almost DNF'd a couple times and really just stayed to see it through. This was one long monologue, but I guess I'm glad Phoebe didn't unalive herself. Although that might have been a bitter book.
Jesus. Damn. Ruthless.
That was ruthless. Jeez. All right. 1-star review, like you were saying. Where the hell are the trigger warnings?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that there were no trigger warnings.
I have to say I agree. I think if I was a woman, knock on wood, obviously.
LOL. If I was a woman. If I was a woman, period.
Hey, everybody, I am. I am a woman. Okay. If I was a woman.
I swear, you'd be pausing at the dumbest times. Okay, go ahead. If you were a woman.
It's for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
If I was a woman going through infertility and I started reading this and I didn't know that's what this was going to be about, like I would have been really upset.
Really?
Yeah.
I do think it being a book read by so many people, I agree with you. There should be trigger warnings. If it's something that somebody's going to get triggered about, there should be a warning about it.
Yeah, like what's so bad about putting it in the front of the book?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have one more review. I found this book an entertaining mix of deep topics with well-written humor. The lows experienced by our protagonist Phoebe felt relatable and painfully human, even though the wedding people contends with heavy topics like suicidal ideation and loss. There was a buoyancy to the writing that never made the story itself boring or unduly heavy. I was proud to read Phoebe's growth and also enjoyed the themes of how both connection and self-knowledge are powerful.
Yeah, those were good reviews.
Those are really good reviews.
Yeah. All right, so that was our book club pick for January. I really enjoyed it.
Why don't you tell everybody what our book club pick is for February?
We're going to do Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry.
Ooh.
I'm so excited.
I've heard a lot of good things about Emily Henry.
Okay, this book won Goodreads Book of the Year.
Ooh. Goodreads Book of the Year.
It won Romance and Book of the Year.
Cool.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
And so we figured, February, Valentine's Day, little love.
Let's get the romance back
Let's
in
get
here.
the romance back in here. We are romance girlies through and through.
That we are.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to get back into this.
Yeah.
All right, so then that wraps it up for the week, right?
Yep.
Read responsibly.
Or don't.